Jackson. We'll get to Coach Izzo in a second, but first, Belmont, Maryland. Jalen Smith gets the dish, explodes for the Monster Jam.
This was the best game of the day to me. A very bizarre ending with Belmont holding for the final shot. I thought, man, they had every chance to win this game. Maryland survives in advance, and this kid was great late. They had no answer for him. They had no answer for Maryland's size down low.
That's what you call a finish.
Mavericks and Kings. De'Aaron Fox gets the steal, brings the house down with that right there.
Man, he's so special.
Yeah.
Man, he needs to be playing in another city. Watch out for Sacramento next year, though. They tried to scare some people this year. Good young group of young
And that's
young
another
players.
guy whose game, Ja Morant has a little, reminds you of a little bit. The explosiveness, the willingness to pass, the athleticism.
The hair.
Yeah, De'Aaron's got a better body than him.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, Pistons and Suns. DeAnthony Melton driving, baseline, throwing down a vicious
Steven,
dunk.
what's up with this defense, man?
Man, this is the last 10 games of the season. This is the Dirt Bowl. Everybody that's trying out playing right now. This is called garbage minutes.
I mean, that's my guy, Thon McCurry. He's supposed to be out there for his defense. Just give him baseline, then let him get to the cup.
Nobody played defense.
And we got somebody on our staff that part of the ownership in Phoenix or something, because they stay in the losing column, but they stay on our highlight.
Yeah, you know how
for
that
some
go.
reason.
You know how that go.
All right, moving on to Michigan State now. The two-seed Spartans were in a tight battle with Bradley yesterday. Coach Tom Izzo was seemingly in a tight battle with one of his players. Izzo had to be restrained during a heated confrontation with freshman guard Aaron Henry during a team huddle for his lack of defense. Michigan State got the win, but all questions after the game were focused around the fiery exchange.
This is one and done time, you know? The my bads are out the window. If they're my bads because that team played better or that guy played better, if it's my bad because I decided to jog back instead of sprint back, then it is your bad and you're going to hear about it. So that's what it was. I get a kick out of you guys. Get after somebody because you're trying to hold them accountable. I don't know what kind of business you're in, but I'll tell you what, if I was the head of a newspaper and you didn't do your job, you'd be held accountable. That's the way it is.
All right, Stephen, what was your reaction to this?
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love coaches like that. It's too many coaches these days that let players get away with murder, especially on defense. And I see it a lot in the NBA. You know, a lot of guys don't even attempt to play defense, and the coaches don't say nothing. So when I see a coach like Coach Izzo that hold guys accountable and let him know, look, two things I shouldn't have to get on you on: effort and playing defense. And defense, it's really effort. You can teach it, but you have to go out there and want to stop your man. And I see that a lot in the NBA where guys just let their man score. Guys don't even help their man. LeBron has been doing it sometimes. James do it sometimes. Yeah, I would call all these big players because a lot of them don't play both ways. I salute guys like Kawhi. I salute guys like Paul George, Russ, that play both ways. Defense is not respected like it used to. And when I love coaches like that, get on guys and don't let nothing slide because they take away from the game.
Steven, I know the answer to this, but who's the best coach you ever played for?
Greg Popovich.
How was Popovich with his best? And I know Aaron Henry's his freshman, so not his best player. Obviously, Cassius Winston is. But how was Popovich's style with a guy like Tim Duncan?
Well, and that's the thing about it. The same way he treats the worst player on the team or the last player to get in the game, he treats Tim Duncan the same way. It's been many a times where I've seen Pop look at me, and he's trying to get to me, but he go at Tim to get to me because at times I couldn't take it. I was shut down, you know, and Pop knew that. And once I realized that he can go at the best player and Tim can take it, how can I not? And that's great coaching. And that's the reason why I became a professional 14 years, because I was in that situation early in my career.
And if you look at the best coaches at all levels, being Pop, being Nick Saban, college football, Bill Belichick in pro football, they're the best in the business. And they all have a relatively same coaching staff. Jack comes up with the story about Tim Duncan. Man, there's people that sat here, talk about Tom Brady in New England. Coach Belichick, he puts on 15 to 20 plays after a game, and Brady is one of the first ones that he goes to ripping. Those are my favorite coaches. Now, every athlete has a different style. My brother played for Bobby Knight, was a captain for Bobby Knight. But Bobby Knight sat in my living room. I got a scholarship offer from every Big Ten school. Michigan State offered me a scholarship. Michigan offered me, Illinois, all those schools. Almost every school in the Midwest I could have gone to play basketball. But my mom knew at an early age. She said, Bobby, she didn't even let me talk to Bobby. She said, Bobby, he won't be able to handle it. He's not made of the same stuff now, he's a better athlete, but he won't take what you say to him. When you try to use profanity or something and you come at him, he will come back at you and you and him will be fighting. So it's also as the athlete, you have to know what type of blood type you need. I could play for Nick Saban. I could play for Belichick because they're teaching the game at its highest level. And I know with my athletic ability, if I learn at the highest level, it's going to give me the greatest opportunity for success. So I believe in that type of coaching. And the thing about Aaron Henry that's important is, no, he's not the best player, but he is a freshman. And if I'm going to run this program the way this program is going to be run, I'm going to make sure that the freshmen know how it's going to go down. And after the game, I guarantee you his parents, that being Aaron Henry, they say, you know something, I'm fine with Coach Izzo. Why? Because when he sat in our living room, he made 2 promises, that he would grow my young boy up into be a man and he would help him graduate. And those are the types of moments that really help you grow up in both aspects.
And you also you see right there in those clips, the other players, the older players, have the license with Coach Izzo if they think this could escalate to a place where it's not productive, to grab him and be like, hold on, let me talk to him. When Izzo got back up and was really upset in the huddle, you had Cassius Winston again be like, hold on, calm him down a bit. I think it's very different collegiate and pro. I think pro coaches is grown men, almost everybody's rich. The power dynamic isn't as skewed. I feel differently at the college level. In order for this to not make me squeamish.
How can the college player and the coach be on the same level, though?
No, that's my point. No, that's exactly what I was saying, is that on the college level, there is such a discrepancy between the player and coach, the power, the influence, all of it. That's the exact point I'm making, is because there is such a discrepancy in what, as a professional player, you have some recourse to a degree if you think your coach has gotten out of line. As a college player, you have no power over the scholarship. You have so little power. That it is the type of coaching that if I am not convinced the coach is invested in these players long term, invested in them graduating, and not just invested in them 5 months a year while they're playing for their team, I don't like it. But I know what Tom Izzo's reputation is.
But to me, it's no different. Go ahead.
I know what Tom Izzo's reputation is, and I know that when people sign up to play for Michigan State, when kids get recruited by Tom Izzo, when the parents entrust Tom Izzo with their kids, they know this is part of it. But they also know Tom Izzo's going to be a part of their life long after they're done playing in the NCAA tournament. So we see that same thing with Coach K. You didn't mention Coach K as one of the great coaches that does this, but Coach K is as crazy as any of them on the sidelines. But you have these real investments in the players. It's the coaches that treat the players as if they're hired guns. And once they're out of the program, they're out of their lives, that talk to them like this, that I don't like. But that's not who Tom Izzo is. And this shouldn't be a surprise. This is how Tom Izzo been coaching Michigan State, not just in the tournament, but all year long from October till March. Every year he's been the head coach.
To me, it's no different than a person going to a school of higher learning. If you're majoring in engineering, math, or whatever your specialty is, when that student sits down, that professor's job is to bring out the best and try to get that information to that student. So for me, it's not about athletics. It's about talented people trying to get better. You need those who have experienced where you're going to be able to speak into your life, to be able to push you. Because most of the time, young people, they don't know where they need to go. So you need a voice out there to be able to make sure that you're able to get there. So for me, this is not about athletics. It's not about power dynamics. It's about trying to be the best person I can be and turning over my talent, my intellect to someone who I feel like is more seasoned and more responsible than me.
Are all the college coaches, for the most part, do they lean towards this style of coaching? Because we've sat here with Jay Wright, who doesn't appear to be that kind of coach, who seems
very effective.
Seems to be effective.
This isn't the only way to do it.
And sticks around for a long time.
Okay, let me tell you, Jay Wright is the same coach. I watched Jay Wright last week in the Big East. He chewed out the water boy, the scorekeeper, every referee. He coaches the same way. He just looks totally different. Jay Wright coaches exactly like Coach Izzo coaches.
Well, and then too, it's easy to respect that and take that from a coach when you know he cares about you just as much off the court as on the court. Like Pop, perfect example, when Pop came to me, this is 2 things he told me. I know that you like to smoke. You can't smoke. You have to play defense. You'll have a long career in this league. I started playing defense when I got to San Antonio. Won me a championship. All great fatherly advice.
Yes.
But no coach has ever came to me like that
man to man and been very clear about
that clear. And once I knew that he cared about me as a man first, it was easy for me to take anything from him. It's easy for me to go out there and die for him on the court because I know he honestly cares about me.
And the other thing with the Spurs is, and this is still legendary to this day, when they're in the playoffs and they have a team dinner, that team dinner includes guys who hadn't played there for 10 years.
Oh, no question.
You could call Greg Popovich this morning. I'm certain of it.
Yes.
So that long-term investment in relationship is what allows some of the license. Because I know you, Stephen. You don't let a lot of people talk to you a lot of different ways.
And I wouldn't have made it 14 years if I wasn't coachable.
Right.
All right, Stephen, we'll see you later on in the show. Coming up, have the Green Bay Packers done enough to keep Aaron Rodgers happy? Talk about that on First Things First.